Sorry. Hi guys, Matt Thomas here at Cedar Rock Studio Guitar Gallery in Indiana, and today we've got a very special Taran in. Now this is actually a brand new 2023 Tirga Beag. Now that's 16 inches across, but it's only 19 inches long, so it looks like a widened OM, if you will. Now this actually features a really high grade. I mean, you can call it master grade, but if there's anything higher than that, we'll call it that. But it's Italian Spruce, and it is just so tight grained, and there's an incredible amount of silking in this thing. But as you flip it over, this is a special reserve East Indian, which Rory says that this is probably the best East Indian he's ever had his hands on. And I would dare say it's probably the best East Indian I've ever had my hands on too. It is incredible. Now, like all their other guitars, it features all their really juicy elements. Good Lord, would you just listen to that? So it has that domed back, which are not domed. It's like a barrel shape here, and it has the compression bracing throughout it, so it just rings like a bell. Now, along with the shape, as you can see, it kind of curves this way, that way, so that as you're holding it, it really dips into you. And it also does have an arm bevel, so this corner that you come across feels like nothing. So it is an incredibly comfortable guitar to both play on your lap, and I imagine playing standing with this would be a dream as well. Now, as you saw when my arm came across here, that bridge is actually pretty far forward. So this particular model has a short scale. So this is actually a 25-inch scale length. And it is not a fan fret like the Tirga More. Now, it does have an African blackwood carved bridge, which I also really adore the way that they carve and shape these bridges. It's just very, very special in how it slopes back, but it also is scooped in. And another thing I want to mention is they set their saddle at a slight negative angle. And same thing, it looks like with, nope, the pins are straight. It's just the saddle that comes in at a slight negative angle, so that when it's under full pressure, that saddle is pretty much directly straight up and down then. Now it's bound all the way around with Clara Walnut. Nope, I lied. It's bound all the way around with Ebony, but the purfling scheme on the other side of that is actually maple, claro, and then maple. But the claro is dominant. It's almost twice as wide as the maple. Now, also, it does feature their hot sand fade little lovely trick that they do. So this arm bevel has that hot sand fade into it. Also, I love what they do with the rosette. It's cut into 3 portions. The 2 outside stay the same, and the center one completely twists and flips around on itself. That way, so that the sand, or the fade itself, it's an optical illusion. This way it fades, but also in the center, this way it fades. It's really cool. Now, it does feature their structured sides as well, which actually are a fully curved Western red cedar structured side, and they're pretty thick. I mean, they feel like they're maybe a 1/4 inch thick, and the only reason I can tell is because it's got a lovely enlarged kind of teardrop shaped sound port here, which is why I can just grab right there and feel how thick these sides are. And another thing that's awesome about this sound port is you get a peek of the lovely artistry and carving that they have done on this top, which it's their own version of a lattice. And I'm not going to tell you anymore because you need to look at it for yourself. Now, it also features a Wenge neck on it, which has their signature negative taper. So it's actually thicker here and gets thinner as you go up the neck. but it's flatter as well as you go up the neck. So it's got a pretty even C shape here, so that it's really easy to wrap your thumb or get anywhere around the neck that you need to. But the nature as you play up the neck, you tend to slide and put your thumb here. So it's nice and flat behind here, and it just works really well ergonomically for moving up and down the neck. I would dare say it's a nice fast neck. But it is also their signature glueless neck joint, which Rory has a great video up kind of talking about how he's achieved that, how he constructs the blocks and grain orients them in a special way. But the tenon insert actually has dovetail sides to it, so that as the neck is inserted, the deeper it goes, the further it pulls the fretboard extension to the top. That way, so that you don't get any kind of ducktailing of the end of this fretboard extension. So this neck just stays absolutely bone straight. And if ever it needed to be serviced, unbolt it and it slides right out, and you can do any adjustments within minutes and put it back on. But I'd recommend sending it back to Rory if you need to do that, because what they are able to do with their setups is by far one of the cleanest and best setups right out the gate that I've ever felt. Now, it does have an African Blackwood fretboard here with Evo Gold fret wire and also gold pipe inlay dots to find your way all the way up. Now, this one actually at the 12th fret, they went ahead and filled in those gold pipes with more gold, which is, that's just classy. Now, it has the hot sand fade Clara back cap here, but also the hot sand fade Clara head cap with a gold T for Taran here in the headstock. And as we're going with gold, it's got gold Waverly go-toes. I'm sorry, not Waverly. It's got gold go-toes here, which are the 510 tuners, which are my favorite. They're just so smooth. I don't feel like they have any lag in them, and you don't have to work to tune them. Now, another thing I want to mention is they used a maple purfling all the way down the neck and in between these veneers, so that when that volute area was carved, you get that lovely kind of white peeking V through here from the transition from the back cap to the neck. Now, that Wenge neck is really, really dense. I mean, just barely tapping on it here, you can hear the body coming to life. So it transfers a lot of immediate energy to the soundboard and box, and probably helps contribute to the enormous amount of sustain that this instrument has. Now, tonally, this is a little different from the majority of the Tarans I've played, but I've not played an East Indian one yet. It's got a lot of mid to it. The mid-range is very present and big on it, but oddly enough, this is one of the first East Indian guitars I've played that has that very cathedral-like awe to it as well. But it's incredibly sensitive, and the top, how cool is that? Who knew that I had a built-in whammy bar on this? And I imagine that, yeah, you could probably do that all over this top just because of how sensitive this thing is. Now, before I completely ramble on and talk all night about this phenomenal Taran Tirga Beag, if you have any more questions about this guitar, message Alan at cedarrockstudio.com and stick around, and thanks for listening.